Hello there people. Now guys are going to get a bit worried in the next couple of weeks because of a little date called Valentine's Day. And as you know, this is probably the perfect opportunity for chick flick movies, especially those love ones, to come out and get your sort of partner to go and see it, and men are terrified by this. But that awkward moment is not going to be terrified for men, because this is actually a chick flick movie for men. It's done from a man's perspective. Women aren't the main centre point, the men are. It's really good, and the male actors that they got to portray these guys are fantastic. But I'll get into more detail right now in my sort of little thoughts on the whole thing. The first thing I like to sort of point out is to how almost like original it is. It's really good the fact that they're showing this from a male's perspective, because we have seen the female's perspective of many chick flicks many times now, and to be honest, it's more or less the same every time. But seeing it from a man's perspective is completely different, because men think a lot different than women. So I like the fact and how, you know, and it's not the fact it's just from one man, it's from three men's perspective. You know, you've got Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller playing the main three guys. And one of the best things I like about these three guys is they must have hung out like more than just like a few times, because the chemistry between these guys is just fantastic. The banter, the humour, everything that these guys can say or do is fantastic. It's funny, and it is like really laughed out loud kind of funny. It's not, and it's really good for like today's kind of world, like the way that they're kind of like dressed. And one of the best things is they're not just kind of like, you know, like 30s or trying to act young, or like they're young people trying to act old. They're kind of like in that point where they are old but they're also still young, so they, you know, their style of clothing is different, very suited for like today's kind of like sort of world. So it's really modern and relevant to today's situation, which is fantastic. The next thing I will say is, like I was saying, like, because you're seeing it from a man's perspective, you're seeing all the kind of things that men go through like certain relationship types, and it almost kind of feels related in a way, which is really good. I think it's pretty awesome that they're sort of doing it, taking that kind of like that step into it, and you can almost kind of relate to some of the characters, which is pretty good. And the main female focus, which is Imogen Potts, like, she was actually really good, really sort of different from the usual kind of like chick flick kind of like female main actresses that we normally get. You know, because she was roughly kind of around kind of like the same age as the way that they acted. Really kind of like cool. I completely love it. However, there are still a few problems with it. First off is, because this is still technically a chick flick, it still follows the usual chick flick formulas, and to be honest, you can see them coming a mile away. So it doesn't kind of hide it in a way really good even, and it's quite distracting really, because you're getting quite into it, but then you forget that, oh, this is a chick flick movie, so you're going to realise the certain problems that are going to come up, and when they come up you're like, I knew it, and it does get quite annoying. And then secondly, one of probably the biggest main ones I have a big problem with is the title of the movie, which is quite awkward, because the thing is, that awkward moment title never really sort of fits the movie kind of well. I mean, the thing is, there's plenty of times where there are those awkward moments that happen, but not enough to really give it that big title. I think the change the title of the movie probably would have helped in a way, and I probably would have given it maybe a wee bit of a higher score. But overall, those are just the few problems I have with the movie, because this movie actually is pretty damn good. How good, you ask? Well, I am giving it a solid 7 out of 10. This is probably a step forward in chick flicks for men. I think this is just a stepping stone. I'm pretty sure there's going to be good ones, probably the best ones come out from this. But yeah, I pretty damn like it.